like that. So now, I think completed. Some questions. I would like to take some questions. Some questions. One microphone, I think, put the center. Then those people who have some questions, come.
From here?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
You speak really beautifully about love. Would you mind saying what you mean by love? I don't want to assume I understand what you mean by love.
그래서
다른 군주네
저.
단다 잠재고 죽지 못 가나서
뭐로?
섬을 주고 싶다 정서 내가 잠재 뭐데 간다 샤나거나 love song 두가
As I mentioned briefly, all, I think, social animal, they have some kind of closeness feeling each other and sense of concern of their companions.
대
That is mainly biological. Now, that kind of love is biased. Only your friends or your close people
family
or close animal. Right?
family only to loved ones
And then that very much oriented about others' attitude. So that love is biased. So that kind of love cannot extend towards your enemy or even strangers. But we have that sort of ability there. I think children, young children, they don't care what differences, isn't it? So long, we should play together and showing smile, there are no differences. The children, before they start to play, they never ask, what is your faith? What is yours or what's the family background? They never ask. But gradually we, through sort of the modern education, actually now modern education, I have some sort of criticism. The modern education very much oriented about material value. So you see people, children, say, once join the education sort of institution and getting education, then the basic sort of human
qualities
or quality or loving kindness, these things, then become dormant. Dormant. Then some other new sort of information. That very much related with the society, some kind of the materialistic culture. That materialistic culture, too much of competition. So then, you see the basic good quality, human sort of loving kindness, these things, then not much because of the active, like that. So, that kind of loving kindness is biased. Now what we are talking, loving kindness, is irrespective whether their attitude towards me, positive or negative, doesn't matter. But these are same human being, all have same right. So on that understanding, develop sense of concern. That is unbiased love. That is not oriented others' attitude, regardless their attitude, but still they are human brothers, sisters, and they keep loving kindness. That only we human being can do, animal cannot do. Okay, clear? Next question.
Thanks for being here and happy birthday. what is your process for making a tough decision when your heart feels torn to make a decision in both ways? What's the process or what's the ritual that you take to make a really challenging decision?
As I mentioned earlier, combination brain and heart. Now, heart, warm-heartedness, you see, is the basis of inner strength, determination, willpower. You see, that sometimes willpower combined with blindness. So intelligence should be fully utilized. So combination, intelligence. When investigate your desire, put it aside, just analyze. And when things are difficult, warm-heartedness, you see, brought determination. Now here, truthful, honest. Any activities out of sense of compassion is truthful, not cheating, not self-centered attitude. A lot of sort of today, unhealthy activities, ultimately out of self-centered sort of attitude. So then, naturally, you can't carry your life transparently, something to hide. That, you see, can't develop, you see, because of trust. Without trust, how can develop friendship? We are social animal. We need friend. Friendship entirely based on trust. Trust based on sense of concern of their well-being, respect their right. So, combination, what? Brain and heart. Next question. No, here.
Thank you. So, Your Holiness, you sit at the center of billions of people who listen to you. How is that as an experience for you? And how do you face that responsibility and opportunity?
Korsa. I always consider myself as another human being, one of the 7 billion human beings, since we are social animals. So each of us have the moral responsibility to think about humanity, because our future depends on humanity. If you really thinking or act like human being, then when we heard, when we sort of see these sort of problem, killing human to human being, and a bully, and gap rich and poor, and now this country, now recently some racial sort of tension. All this, you see, entirely based on, as I mentioned earlier, the secondary level of differences. So when I give talk, I never consider I'm Buddhist, I'm Tibetan. Or suddenly, I never consider I'm Dalai Lama. If I too much consider the emphasis, I'm Dalai Lama, then 7 out of 7 billion human beings, 1 Dalai Lama. So you become a lonely person. When I think I'm a human being, then a lot of friends there. That's much better. Like that. So then that also, you see, very helpful. Completely relax. If too much concern, you are something important person. Then each word selected there.
You have to select each word you say.
Then more worry, more anxiety,
More stress.
more fear,
More stress.
more stress like that. Next question. Two male from yes. Yes now, one lady here.
On the other side.
Yeah.
The people doing the Michigan.
Ka.
Panang wanted.
Yes.
Hello. I just wanted to say, I love you.
Thank you.
That's all.
Thank you. Okay.
Chapter. Get like chapter.
Correct.
보고 싶대.
Oh. It's okay.
Thank you. I just wanted to know if there's a certain way that you feel when you meditate.
그래서
Come to back up there. Yeah, just so mix it. You have your best feeling.
Oh yes, of course. You see, yes, I think through. This meditation is actually important part of practice, not just prayer. Training of your mind. That really changes or transforms your life, your way of thinking. It's a certain sort of Buddhist practice. Really immense sort of because of the effect on destructive emotion. So, result, mind always remain sitting,
Quite calm.
like that. Okay. Shamdi.
Wow. My question to you is, if you were granted one wish for humanity in the world, and only one, what would it be?
드럼이 대중 그 지도 군들이야 둘이 찍려놨어. 둘이 찍나야 고급이나 둘이 찍대 가르 나게나.
Yes, that is happy world, happy humanity. So I always say, 20th century become century of bloodshed. Now this century should be century of dialogue, because some differences always there. And also I think human population today 7 billion. The end of this century will reach 10 billion. So also problem there. So whenever we face problem, the method to solve the problem through dialogue. So in order to create peaceful century, we must promote the spirit of dialogue through use our
Brain now.
our brain. You see, it is impossible to achieve your own interest, regardless others would think. No, impossible. In ancient time, small population, self-sufficient. At that time, you see, not necessary to think well-being of other. Just think yourself, okay. So with that sort of mental attitude, concept of war develop. Concept of war, one side victory, one side defeat. Now today's reality, that is impossible. So only compromise through dialogue. So therefore, this century should be century of dialogue. So in order to achieve century of peace. Peace also in order to achieve happy humanity. Clear? Just mission alone will not bring inner happiness. Like that. Some my friend, billionaire, very rich, as a person, very unhappy person. Very unhappy. Isn't it? Sometimes you see the poor people, they villagers, I think their mind is thinking quite simple, but very happy. Isn't it? Like that. Now I think last question.
Last question, Lama.
Oh, then too many questioners now. Yes.
God bless you. Is this on? God bless you and your humbleness. You talk about joy. You're one of the most joyful people on the planet. And you talk about joy emanating from being yourself. Why do people find it so hard to be themselves? And what is your advice? Because people try to be like what everyone tells them to be, and that's missing the point that your life has been dedicated to.
그래서
군주 간다데 같이 가외 콜 가는 게 어려웠어. 가외 콜 joy.
어려워.
가는 게 어려서 근데 군주 국계 찬차샤베네 투토브레샤스. 얘네들 잠불이 나면 뭐 보시지. 지 우수로 잡제대 제자마도 수수로 한 개랑 신 로보 제하게. 대체도 뭐 강에도 가는 되겠나서.
Glass to get. No glass. Then okay. It becomes dirty now. 가사.
매
좋아.
보시지 우수 잡제다 직제에서 답시 치기 어렸어. 얘네 고란조 랑신 그 돈에 가 많이 와야. 갱에도 가는 되겠나서. 잘 마당 못 가는 거예요.
I feel, as I mentioned briefly, existing education system not adequate to bring a sensible human being. So religions over 2,000 years is always talking or carry a message of love. But that now today, out of 7 billion human beings, over 1 billion non-believer. So religious message will not reach these people. Then among the believers, there are quite a number of mischievous believers. Hypocritic. Unless you carry religious practice seriously, sincerely, the religion teaches us hypocrisy, or saying something nice, very good, and doing different way. So this clearly shows we are lacking the firm sort of belief or conviction about inner value. Now that through education now. This morning I just met the one scientist, Paul Ekman.
Paul Ekman.
또 lok하셔고는 거 이렇게 정말 또 그런 게 야고 있어요.
So we have had this discussion about how can we promote greater emotional awareness among people, and he has initiated a project on creating kind of a visual map of emotions, like an atlas. So I had a meeting this morning.
Usually we call now last over 30 years, 3 decades. I have serious sort of discussion with scientists, mainly 4 fields: cosmology, neurobiology, physics, particularly quantum physics. The one Buddhist sort of concept, the shunyata, emptiness, that very much similar that of quantum physics view. One time, there's one Indian nuclear physicist, Raja Ramana. You see, he once told me, quantum physics, that concept in the world newly developed recently. But in India, 2,000 years ago, already have that concept like that. So we call now, since some time back, we use the word hygiene of physical, hygiene of emotion. Like hygiene of physical, you see, we need more knowledge about, you see, what matters or virus harmful. Or, so make sort of distinction, some helpful, some harmful. Then, you see, accordingly, we avoid these harmful, positive take. Similarly, more knowledge about hygiene of emotion. Then, you see, such as anger, fear, these are very, very harmful about our hygiene of emotion. Then compassion, forgiveness, you see, these are very, very helpful, you see, to bring calm mind. So therefore, in order to carry effectively about hygiene of emotion, we have to understand or fuller knowledge about different emotion. So usually we call map of emotion, not religious matter, simply matter of health, like that.
Mental health. Mental health.
Oh, health also. See, when you see mind calm, immense sort of benefit to healthy body. So healthy mind, very, very important for healthy body. Like that. And then also you see one lady, you see, express love. So you know, I usually see half teasing, you see the young ladies. External beauty, very important. But more important is inner beauty. So in order to increase inner beauty and maintain inner beauty, the knowledge about the system of emotion is very crucial. Isn't it? So now, including Paul Ekman, you see, last now few years, you see, number of scientists, and particularly neuroscientists, you see, we really involve, you see, how to bring these secular ethics in secular education field. When I use the secular, according to Indian understanding, India's constitution itself based on secular. Because it's India, multi-religious nation. So the modern India, when they made the constitution, you see, there is no other choice except based on secular. So according to Indian understanding, secular means respect all religions and also respect non-believer. That's something quite unique. Over 3,000 years, you see, the materialistic or radical school of thought that we call Charvaka. So you see, rest of spiritual sort of school of thought criticize that. At the same time, refer these people, rishis, sage, respect. In the West, you see, secular, quite often, you see, they have some kind of reservation. Secular, almost they consider secular means disrespect to religion. And sometimes, it's some, even you see, sort of have this sort of view, secular and atheism is some close relation. That's absolutely not, according to Indian understanding. So now, the first day, we are students of ancient Nalanda tradition. Nalanda, most of these Nalanda masters, mainly South Indian. You come from
Gujarat.
Ahmedabad. So, bit to South India, right?
Mare. The key to
Gujarat.
Gujarat lam.
그래서 그다
Nupshol yake.
누소들 이제 합산인 집에 있는 배지를 하자래.
Yes. So it's closer to south than
Oh.
to the north.
So I usually see teasing my Indian friend. The South Indians' brain is something very special, because all those masters, these masters of Nalanda sort of philosopher, most of them come from South India. So we student of that tradition. So mentally, or actually, as a matter of fact, it's a few years ago, on occasion, some Chinese media, overseas Chinese, mainly overseas Chinese, then one reporter asked me, why you mentioned yourself as a son of India? He felt maybe political reason. Then I just mentioned the fact, my brain, each sort of cell of my brain filled by Nalanda thought. Since young age, I study. Firstly, our sort of tradition. So we learned by memory.
We memorize the key text.
Memorize the root text. Then each word explained according commentary, mainly Indian masters. Like that. So our brain filled with Nalendra's thought. Then my physical, then a few years ago, so then I mentioned over nearly 50 years, this body survived by Indian rice, Indian dals. So therefore I consider I'm son of India. So this is nothing to do with the political reason, nothing. So then, actually, wherever I go, I carry the message of ancient Indian knowledge. That is ahimsa, non-violence, and religious harmony. So this body, not Indian, but I think one non-Indian now carry more effectively about India's ancient knowledge than those Indians. Thank you.
His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Your Holiness, we're profoundly humbled and honored that you chose to join us this afternoon. Before we have just some brief closing remarks, we wanted to honor you one last time with one more song.
Very good.
And this is by a gentleman I met during the days of Global Citizen. He's a profound musician, but he sees himself first and foremost as an activist. He's worked with my friend Kwaku Mandela in South Africa. He does a profound amount of work around the world. He's also extremely gifted, and he's here to honor you. Ladies and gentlemen, Aloe Black. And please, please be seated so that the world that is watching can join us. Thank you so much.
Happy birthday, Your Holiness. Thank you for your joy, compassion, your knowledge and wisdom. You teach of love, and I am going to sing about love with the help of my friend Woody Aplanak. Broken hearts everywhere, from stepping on love we don't care. Somebody tell me what we gon' do. Even though it's plenty to share, people hungry in the streets, it ain't fair. But you don't think about it until it's you. So I'm gonna say how I feel. And what I wanna say is love's the only thing that's real. I'm gonna tell you what to do. Just believe that love's the only thing we have that's true. 'Cause love is the answer. It's the answer to the questions in your mind. Love is the answer. It's the answer. If you're looking, you will find. The answer is love. The answer is love. The answer is love. Yes, it is. Friends nowhere to be found to help you when you are down, but you know that you're the one to blame. We know what's wrong from what's right. Nobody wins in a fight, but still we play the game. Now I'm gonna say how I feel, and what I wanna say is love's the only thing that's real. I'm gonna tell you what to do. Just believe that love's the only thing we have that's true. 'Cause love is the answer. It's the answer to the questions in your mind. Love is the answer. It's the answer. If you're looking, you will find. Love is the answer. It's the only thing that everybody needs. 'Cause love is the answer. It's the only thing that makes us truly free. Just look around the whole wide world. So many beautiful things to see. Take my hand and come along. Spread some love with me, yeah. 'Cause love is the answer, yeah. It's the answer to the questions in your mind. Love is the answer. It's the answer. If you're looking, you will find. Repeat after me. The answer is love. 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 Say it again. The answer is love. Thank you.
I'm moved. I think we're all moved. Thank you, Ella. That was beautiful. We're going to be expeditious in the interest of time, but we wanted to make sure that we gave an appropriate acknowledgement of all those that made this day happen. And I'd like to bring Andrea up to the stage. Andrea's worked tirelessly night and day, 16-hour days, passionately to support. I'd also like to acknowledge Calden Law, please. Calden was the impetus. None of this would have happened without Calden. He has been an incredibly gracious host. We also want to invite the Peak Mind team to just please stand in the interest of time, as we can't call everyone's name out, but we'd love to acknowledge you. Please just stand for a brief moment. Let's give them a round of applause. So Peak Mind was really born out of an idea that you stand for, Your Holiness, which is really what we wanted to in our own small, humble way, represent, which was how do we stand inside ourselves? How do we get to a place where we can create a world that we all want, where 7 billion of us are unified? And it was our belief that until the 7 billion of us, soon to be 10 billion, get correct on the inside, the outside will always be a reflection of that state. So it's really dedicated to being a stand for everyone in terms of our possibility. And I want to actually offer the mic briefly to Andrea to just say a few words, because she's been an absolute champion.
Thank you. I'd like to thank you all for being here today and for sharing in this very special moment with us. I'd like to first and foremost thank Your Holiness for being here, for honoring us with your presence and inspiring us with your message. I'd also like to thank my event co-creators, Calden Lode, if you'd please come up, and also Michael's trainer.
Round of applause, please.
Thank you.
Finally, we just want to take a moment to thank all of you. Would someone please, there's the card there. I know one of the things that Your Holiness, I know you're not a man who cares for gifts, but we wanted to make sure that everyone had a chance to feel a part of the event in honoring your birthday. So we passed the card around earlier with people's messages of well wishes. So this is the testimony. So this is to represent all of the voices of those here today, as well as those watching around the world. And we're just going to send a few final thank yous. I want to acknowledge Forrest Whitaker for gracing us with his presence today. I want to acknowledge Aloe Black and his team. Tim Fain. I don't know where Tim is standing. There he is. And I want to acknowledge our team, again, one last final time. So Mitch, Carrie, you guys have been here for us on a technical side. Absolutely couldn't have done this without you. Gwendolyn and Paresh, who stood for us early days when we first had this vision. And the Peak Mind team, again, all the volunteers. This was a total group effort. Chris, I wish I could name everyone, but in the interest of time, we just want to say that this was our humble offering. We're so honored and grateful that you would grace us with your presence, and we're profoundly moved. Thank you.